Right behind me is the park where a horrifying shooting happened 13 years ago. Welcome back to XXX. I'm the cameraman, Jack.
I'm Andy.
I'm your lovely Mia. Today, we're exploring this supposedly haunted park.
My sister Mia, her boyfriend Andy and I run a YouTube channel together. Our main content is exploring abandoned places rumoured to be haunted. I'm in charge of filming for the group. Mia is the host, and Andy handles video editing.
This park has been abandoned for a long time and is isolated from residential areas, so the structures here are still in pretty good shape.
The pitch-black, eerie silence made me uneasy. I stayed alert, recording everything with my camera. Cameras always capture things that the naked eye might miss. That shadow just now, was it Mickey?
Jack! Hey, stop filming! It's too dark here. Let's check the security room and see if we can turn on the lights.
All right, I followed behind Mia and Jack, checking the footage on my camera as I walked. But this time, there was nothing unusual. Good thing I didn't mention it to Mia and Andy. If those two daredevils knew, they'd definitely go looking for that Mickey just to make content. I chuckled to myself and kept filming along the way. We quickly found the security room, and luckily the door wasn't locked. I panned my camera around the room, capturing everything. There was a strange message on the wall. Just as I tried to get a closer look, a blinding light suddenly flashed.
Andy, you're amazing!
Turns out Andy had flipped the power switch.
Piece of cake.
Jack, keep filming! Our handsome Andy here just powered up the whole system. Now, this entire amusement park is ours. Andy, I want to ride the Ferris wheel.
Following Mia's excitement, I pointed my camera at the Ferris wheel, which had a cute Mickey Mouse face smiling down at us. But on my camera screen, the face was twisted and horrifying. Then, out of nowhere, something black and swarming burst out from the Ferris wheel cabins. Crows! They're coming this way! Mia, Andy, get down! The crows screeched wildly, their sharp beaks viciously pecking at anything bright. It seemed that the sudden lights had startled them. Suddenly, the crows let out terrified screeches and flew away from us. Andy! What did you just do?
Just a laser pointer. Shining it into their eyes scares them off.
At a time like this, I should be hearing Mia showering her boyfriend with praise, right? Wait, something's wrong. Mia's gone.
Help me!
That Mickey took her. Back then, the killer wore a Mickey Mascot suit when committing his crimes. He was shot dead right here at the scene. So this Mickey, is it a person or the ghost of that demon? We chased after Mia but quickly lost track of her. Just as we reached the storage room, I heard her voice coming from inside. Andy and I teamed up, broke the lock, and burst into the room. It looked like that Mickey freak was trying to turn Mia into his own personal Minnie. But that wouldn't be easy, because the one he kidnapped was Mia, the maniac.
You guys sure took your time.
Where's that disgusting freak? I'll finish him off.
My whole body was covered in stuffing, so I couldn't see him clearly. But I beat the hell out of him and got out myself. Jack, get your camera ready. We're gonna hunt him down.
My sister was as fierce as ever. From the way she spoke, it didn't seem like that thing was too dangerous, right? But if we could physically fight it... Mickey, it's here!
You bastard! How dare you take my girlfriend?
Andy swung his weapon, landing a direct hit on Mickey's head. For a split second, it froze. But then, it started fighting back.
Damn it! Let me go!
Suddenly, the mascot's head snapped over Andy's, sealing tight. Mia and I rushed to help, but it was too late.
Andy!
Andy was brutally killed by that cursed mascot. Looking into its bloodthirsty, deranged eyes, I was certain. The thing wearing that suit was the ghost of the mass murderer from 13 years ago.
You bastard! I'll kill you!
Mia, calm down!
Let me go! I have to avenge Andy!
Mia, listen to me! You only escaped earlier because it didn't want to kill you. But now it wants our blood. My mind raced, searching for the best way to escape. Then, I spotted a pile of old fireworks. Mia, there are fireworks here. We can use them to make that Mickey... The rest of my words got stuck in my throat, choked by the warm rush of blood.
No! I'll kill you!
I'm a microbiologist. My specialty? Fungal and viral mutations. If it's gross, dangerous, or involves things sprouting out of places they shouldn't, I'm your guy. It's a dream job. If your dreams include endless pressure, angry bosses, and occasionally dodging test subjects that want to eat your face. Most days, I wanted to curl into a ball and scream, but instead I trudged on, wearing my lab coat like a cape of martyrdom. Then one day, I thought, what if I didn't have to? The idea hit me like a runaway pipette. What if I turned myself into one of those creatures? Temporarily, of course. I'd be too sick to work, collect my occupational hazard insurance, and finally relax. Bonus: nobody could yell at a guy with mutant claws. Thus began the project. I concocted a gas designed to mutate human bodies for 3 days. The fungal compound would dissolve and reconfigure tissue, creating temporary, horrifying mutations before self-destructing. Side effects included mild swelling and a rash, basically the flu with an extra dose of nightmare fuel. Perfect for taking a break without worrying about anyone dying. Step 1. Test it on myself, because that's always the best idea, right? I dipped my finger into the glass jar containing the gas. At first, nothing happened. Then, everything happened. The skin on my finger turned black, sprouting tiny fungal threads that twisted and curled like they had a vendetta. My veins popped like black lightning bolts, and my hand ballooned into a grotesque claw. The pain was intense. But an hour later, it was over. My hand was back to normal, save for some itchy redness. I even high-fived myself with my non-mutated hand for pulling it off. The plan was working. By lunchtime, everything was ready. I figured I'd reward myself with a nice last meal before my vacation. A bowl of pho never tasted so good. When I got back, though, something was wrong. The capsule was locked. Inside was Min, my overly curious colleague, slumped over like he'd just taken a really bad nap. My stomach dropped faster than my high school GPA. The idiot must have activated the gas while snooping around. Min! I shouted, banging on the glass. No response. And then he moved. His body spasmed as fungal veins crept across his skin. His limbs contorted, his jaw unhinged, and his head grew. A massive, mushroom-like structure burst from his skull, spraying spores across the pod. Min, buddy, you okay? He roared. The pod door hissed open and Min stepped out, or what was left of him. His claws scraped the floor as he lumbered forward, a terrifying mix of rage and confusion. Okay, let's not do anything rash, I stammered, backing away. He didn't listen. One swipe of his oversized arm sent my lab bench flying. I dodged and bolted for the control panel, slamming the emergency lockdown button. The lab door sealed shut with a satisfying clang. No way was I letting the boss find out. If this got out, I'd be buried in work, overtime, and pay cuts. This mess was mine to fix. Unfortunately, Min wasn't a fan of locked doors. He pounded on the reinforced glass, cracks spiderwebbing with each hit. I needed a plan. Fast. Grabbing a fire extinguisher, I crept toward him. The second he broke through, I let loose a blizzard of foam, momentarily blinding him. He howled, swiping wildly, but I managed to activate the decontamination system. Gas filled the room, designed to neutralize pathogens and hopefully raging mushroom men. For a moment, it worked. Min staggered, coughing and wheezing. I started to breathe again. But then he adapted, because of course he did. Great. Desperation hit. My eyes darted to the capsule, the one thing that could even the odds. If I mutated myself, I might stand a chance. I sprinted for it, sliding into the pod like an action hero. But when I hit the activation button, nothing happened. Sparks flew from the control panel. Min's earlier rampage had severed the power supply. Of course! Why not? I slumped in the pod, exhausted. Min stalked closer, his heavy breaths filling the room. I closed my eyes, ready to accept my fate. But then, salvation arrived. The lab door burst open, and a team of security guards stormed in. They shot Min with tranquilizer darts and hit him with electrified nets. He thrashed and roared. But eventually, the beast went down. As the guards dragged Min away, my boss showed up, hitting me with their signature line.
Care to explain what the hell just happened here?
I gave a weak thumbs up. Science experiment? You'd think my problems ended there, but no. First, I was stuck writing a mountain of incident reports. Then, I was ordered to develop a cure for Min while taking over his workload. After a week of sleepless nights and more caffeine than any human should consume, I finally cracked it. Min was cured, though he wasn't thrilled about the whole mutant mushroom thing. Fair. As for me, I learned an important lesson. Sometimes taking a break is better than accidentally turning your coworker into a murder machine. But hey, at least I didn't have to dodge test subjects this week. Small victories. I'm Dakin, a hacker quietly working in the shadows of the deep web. My job is pretty straightforward. Break in, collect sensitive information about women I happen to see on trains, in supermarkets or on the streets, and sell it. That night, while I was uploading a few screenshots of stolen messages onto my deep web account, a customer placed an order. Their request was simple. Spy on the messages of any female student on the subway. I frowned. A strange request, but nothing too difficult for me. Putting on a pair of contact lenses with a hidden camera and a wide-brimmed hat to conceal my face, I stepped out of my apartment and got to work. At 4 p.m, I was on the subway. It wasn't rush hour yet, so the train wasn't too crowded. I quickly scanned the passengers. A short-haired schoolgirl sitting alone caught my eye. She was leaning against the door, her fingers flying across her phone screen. She was the perfect target for today. I pretended to be just another passenger and casually moved closer to her without raising any suspicion. She glanced at me briefly before going back to her texting. Feeling confident, I silently hoped I'd find something interesting to dig up today. It seemed like she was texting a boyfriend named Naga. At first, the messages were pretty ordinary, just small talk and some random complaints. But then the tone began to shift. The words started to change. I began to feel intrigued, waiting for something shady to show up. Strange words appeared. Handle, bury, grind, and finally the head. I held my breath, unable to look away. I was reading the messages of a killer. The next message shocked me to my core. It was a photo of the victim. For a moment, I was frozen in disbelief. Then it hit me. I knew the victim all too well. Months ago, a Telegram account named You hired me to gather every detail about this man. From the way she spoke, I could tell my client was a young woman, while the target was a married man. And now, he was dead. Had I indirectly sent him to his death? Lost in thought, I suddenly jolted back to reality when I noticed the girl had turned around, her eyes locked onto mine.
Stop snooping,
She said, her voice calm but chilling. I cowardly avoided her gaze, pretending I didn't know anything. I tried to act normal, but then her phone chimed with a new message. My curiosity got the better of me, and I stole another glance. The message was from her boyfriend. My heart nearly stopped. I realized I'd crossed a line, and now I was in the sights of two killers. The girl turned to me again, this time flashing a twisted, eerie smile.
Yes.
The blood in my veins turned to ice. I stumbled back, hitting the train door. Without wasting another second, I bolted, running toward the last car of the train. I thought I could escape. After getting back to my apartment, I locked the door. 3 layers of locks. I leaned against it, gasping for air, trying to calm myself. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. It was that You account again. They sent me a video. My hands froze as I stared at the screen, fear rising in my chest. But I couldn't fight my curiosity and tapped to open it. The video! It was me, running back to my apartment. They had been watching me. My hidden camera lenses, they hacked them. My heart raced. Then I heard it, the sound of my electronic lock. Someone was entering my passcode. Before I could react, the door was kicked hard. The locks I thought would protect me started to give way. Panicking, I ran toward the window, but just as I reached it, the glass shattered. Shards flew across the room. She walked in. Yuko, a knife strapped to her thigh, her cold, predatory eyes locking onto mine. I screamed, my voice cracking. "You're you! I gave you the information you wanted. We had a fair deal. Why are you after me?"
Because you know too much.
Before I could react, Naga appeared behind me, grabbing my arms and pinning me in place. I struggled, yelling for help, but it was useless. Yuko stepped closer, her voice cold and even.
I've discovered that handling someone is quite fun. And your deep web account, your client list, that's exactly what I need to hunt down my next victims.
When I first started working at La Belle Cuisine, I thought I had a chance to prove myself in the world of high-end culinary arts. But dreams have a way of souring in the harsh reality of kitchen life. Instead of plating delicate entrees or learning the secrets of fine sauces, I found myself relegated to gorying task. Peeling mountains of potatoes. The kitchen's damp environment seeped into my skin, turning it rough, scabbed, and unrecognizable. Chef Laurent was the worst. His booming voice echoed through the kitchen, barking orders and criticisms with no regard for who was in his path. I was his favorite target.
Paul!
He bellowed one afternoon, slamming a wooden spoon on the counter.
Even a monkey could peel faster than you. Are your hands broken?
The other cooks laughed. My cheeks burned, but I kept my head down, fingers trembling as I worked the peeler. Every day was the same. The final straw came during a staff tasting. I'd spent weeks experimenting with recipes after hours, crafting a dish I hoped would finally earn me some recognition. When Laurent announced a tasting session, I seized the opportunity and presented my creation, foie gras. Laurent took one bite and spat into the dish.
Garbage,
He declared.
Stick to peeling potatoes. That's all you're good for.
Laughter erupted again, louder this time. My vision blurred with tears, but I swallowed them back. I smiled and nodded, but inside, something cracked. That night, alone in the kitchen, I stared at the pile of peelings I'd left unfinished. The steel glint of the peeler caught my eye, and my reflection stared back, warped and jagged. Then Laurent's voice echoed in my head.
Stick to peeling.
I'd been slaving for months, bending over backward for Laurent, only to be humiliated time and time again. If all he saw in me was someone to scrape and discard, maybe I'd give him exactly that. I threw myself into peeling, my knife flashing through tuber after tuber, sweat dripping from my brow onto the growing mound of mashed potatoes. My hands, calloused from relentless labor, began to ache. Without realizing it, the blade slipped, slicing through one of the hardened calluses on my palm. The sliver of skin fell onto the pile of potatoes, almost indistinguishable from the starchy flesh. I froze, staring at the tiny piece of myself nestled among the mash. An idea took root in my mind, grotesque yet irresistible. What if? Driven by exhaustion and a twisted sense of rebellion, I picked up the peeler. Slowly, deliberately, I shaved off another patch of rough skin. The pain was sharp but fleeting, and the satisfaction of reclaiming control was exhilarating. I examined it, transfixed. It was almost poetic, the way my own body could be reduced to nothing but scraps, just like the potatoes, just like Laurent wanted. I mixed the pieces into the mash, seasoning it with salt, pepper, and herbs. The next day, the dish was a hit. Customers raved about the unique depth of the mashed potatoes, praising Laurent for his ingenuity. He basked in the accolades, his chest puffed out with pride, while I stood in the shadows, silently savoring my secret. But the praise didn't change my position. Laurent continued to belittle me, taking full credit for the dishes I prepared. Oddly though, I no longer felt humiliated when peeling potatoes. That night, I stood in front of the mirror, peeling tool in hand. The first time had been an act of rage, but now it felt like power. The kitchen became my domain of transformation. My worsening skin condition provided ample material to mix into the potatoes. Scabs, patches of dry skin, even the occasional drop of blood, all found their way into the mash. With each strip of skin I removed, I felt lighter, freer. I was no longer just Paul, the potato peeler, the kitchen grunt. I'd gather the strips, mix them into the batch of mashed potatoes. I was the secret ingredient, the thing that made their meals unforgettable. The restaurant's reputation soared. Laurent basked in the glory, oblivious to the true source of his newfound success. But my body didn't heal the way I expected. Where I'd peeled, the skin didn't grow back. Instead, strange, pale patches emerged, soft and glistening like raw fish. The pain became a constant hum, but it didn't matter. The dishes were all that mattered. Then, one night, as I prepared another dish, Laurent burst into the kitchen, red-faced.
What is this?
He demanded, slamming a bowl onto the counter. I froze. The broth shimmered with an oily sheen, and tiny pale fragments floated to the surface, pieces I hadn't chopped finely enough.
Explain yourself!
He roared, grabbing my arm. His grip tightened, pulling up my sleeve. The bandages unraveled, revealing the patchwork of raw flesh beneath. His eyes widened in horror.
What have you done?
He whispered, his voice barely audible over the pounding of my heart. I smiled, the first genuine smile I'd felt in months. I've been giving you what you wanted, chef. A piece of me in every dish. Laurent stumbled back, clutching his stomach. His face turned pale as the realization hit. The critic, the patrons, the accolades, all built on the foundation of my sacrifice. He retched, the sound echoing through the silent kitchen. I turned back to the cutting board, the peeler gleaming under the fluorescent lights. There was still so much more to give.
I woke up gasping, drenched in sweat, hands clutching my throat like I was choking. It was just a dream. That's what I kept telling myself. But the pain in my neck felt real, like something had been stretched, like I had been hanged and survived. In the dream, my neck had stretched, impossibly long, like an eel gliding through the dark. I floated weightless, led by my own head through the night, past sliding doors and into the garden. That's where I saw them. My husband and a girl, no older than 20. She giggled at something he whispered. He brushed her cheek the way he used to brush mine. And then they kissed, bold and unashamed. Except I was there, or at least my head was. And when he noticed it, my face, my floating head, he screamed and swung his katana. A blur of silver flashed, and I woke up. I sat there, knees drawn to my chest, watching him sleep. His breath was slow, steady, undisturbed, like he hadn't just appeared in my nightmare with another woman. The image still burned behind my eyes. A nightmare, I told myself. A trick of the mind. But deep down, I knew better. That wasn't a dream. It was a warning. In the days that followed, I began to see it. The scent of strange incense on his robes, not the kind I burned for the altar or wore on my sleeves. It lingered, delicate and wrong. One evening, folding his inner kimono, I noticed a faint red smear along the collar. At first, I thought it was crushed plum blossom, but when I touched it, it smeared Benny, lip dye, the kind worn by young courtesans. He laughed when I asked.
Probably from the crowd by the river. Some drunk girl stumbled too close.
But I knew. No one touches a magistrate's robes, not by accident. When I confronted him, he smiled. Not with guilt, but with calm dismissal.
Your mind is too wild. You'll drive yourself mad with superstition. You'll make yourself sick.
Later, I overheard him whispering to his mother, saying I was losing my balance, that I might need rest. She pulled me aside in the garden days later, her hand cold on my wrist.
You mustn't let jealousy consume you. Wear your crimson kimono again. Put on makeup the way he used to like.
I wanted to scream. I wanted to tear my head from my shoulders and fling it at the wall. But I didn't. I bowed. I smiled. I poured tea like a good wife. And every night I dreamed of my neck growing longer, slithering through darkness, creeping toward truth. No one believed me. Not the other women at the market, not the shrine maiden I sought for advice. They all spun the same tale, that I was unstable, that I was unraveling. And he was the victim of a clingy, insecure wife. Then came the night. He was unusually tender. He brought me tea himself, said it was a calming blend from Kyoto.
For your nerves.
He smiled. I should have known. The taste was bitter, unfamiliar, but I drank it anyway, because I still wanted to believe him. I collapsed near the hallway, and from the corner of my fading vision, I saw him, standing over me, watching. Then, darkness. When I awoke, I couldn't move. My arms hung useless, my throat burned. From rope. He had strung me up from the ceiling beam. My body swayed gently, helplessly. I could hear him moving in the other room, opening jars, striking flint. The scent of lantern oil filled the air. He was setting the house on fire. The flames moved quickly, licking through the shoji walls, devouring everything we built. Smoke poured in, thick and choking. My lungs heaved, but the noose bit deeper. I should have died, but I didn't. Not yet. In that moment between fire and breath, I felt something rise in me. A pull, a pressure. My spine cracked, my throat expanded, my neck stretched. It didn't stop, longer and longer. Until my feet touched the floor again, though I still hung. Until the rope no longer choked me, only the memory of it. Drifting upward, my neck snaking through the fire like a silk banner of death. I slipped out of the burning frame, silent and weightless, into the cold night. Later, the neighbors whispered. They said they saw something rise from the fire. A woman's head, a twisting neck, a floating curse. They gave it a name, Rokurakubi. I became a breath beneath the door, a shadow above the futon, a nightmare woven into tatami. I whispered to unfaithful men. I curled my neck through their walls. I watched them shatter one by one. But the man I was looking for, he had vanished. Until that night, I found him in a new town, a new house, a new wife, pregnant. He still wore that smug, gentle face, the one he used when lying, when controlling. He had rebuilt his life. But I had not forgotten. That night, I slipped through the floorboards of their home. She lay asleep beside him, her belly full. He snored softly, unaware. I hovered above him, my neck stretched like a vine, my face inches from his. His eyes opened, and he screamed. He lunged for the katana beneath the futon, the same katana he once threatened me with in silence. He swung, steel met phantom flesh. My head fell to the tatami with a soft thud. Then it turned and smiled, because you cannot kill what you've already murdered. The woman stirred beside him.
What's happening?
My neck began to coil. Around his legs, his waist, his arms, his throat. It slithered tight and then it rotted. Flesh decayed on contact, black veins blooming beneath his skin. His body shuddered. The face on the floor, mine, began to crack. The eyes clouded, the skin peeled, the mouth opened. I looked at them both, his frozen terror, her rising scream, and whispered, I will always come back, because my neck still stretches, and the longer it grows, the closer I get, and you cannot escape your karma.
Life felt like a luxurious dream, each whim effortlessly satisfied by the wealthy men, enchanted by my youthful charm and beauty. Being a sugar baby had its perks: exclusive apartments, designer dresses, first-class vacations, and extravagant gifts. I was admired, pampered, and envied. And whenever a patron failed to fulfill my increasingly lavish desires, I moved swiftly and effortlessly onto the next, my heart untouched, my conscience clear. This time, my target was Kurt, a celebrated fabric collage artist, renowned for transforming simple cloth into mesmerizing works of art. He was a man whose immense wealth far surpassed that of anyone I had ever been with. But more than just buying me expensive things, he spoke to me as if I was something rare, something precious.
Jess, you're my muse. I want to show you something no one else has seen. My sanctuary. Come with me to Paradise Island.
The name itself thrilled me. I imagined private beaches, candlelit dinners, a sun-soaked villa filled with art and opulence. Giddy, I told my best friend about it that same night. Her reaction, however, was not what I expected. She asked, her voice hushed.
Are you sure this is a good idea? I've heard weird things about Kurt. Girls who dated him before. They just disappeared, deleted their socials, cut off everyone.
I laughed it off. Who wouldn't want to disappear from social media when they're actually living it up in some lavish mansion? Ignoring my best friend's warnings, I decided to go with Kurt. The yacht ride to the island filled me with anticipation. And when we finally arrived, I was left almost speechless. The lavish old mansion rose majestically from the lush greenery, like something pulled straight from a dream. It was beyond anything I had imagined. I didn't see the way Kurt watched me from behind, not with affection, but with something colder, more calculating. Inside, the mansion was filled with fabric portraits, hundreds of them, each one a depiction of a woman, crafted from layers of different textiles that somehow captured the unique beauty of every face. They looked startlingly lifelike. I had no idea what kind of fabric Kurt used, but it looked uncannily like real skin. Drawn by curiosity, I stepped closer to one of the pieces and instinctively reached out to touch it.
Please don't. They're very special to me.
I lowered my hand, offering a polite smile. They're stunning. They almost look real.
That's because they are.
I assumed he meant emotionally real, artistically compelling. I didn't question it. The first few days were bliss. Sunbathing, drinking wine on the terrace, long conversations about beauty and inspiration. But then, little things began to unsettle me. While swimming in the pool, I spotted an earring lying at the bottom, delicate, old-fashioned, and completely out of place. At night, I heard tapping on my window, and once when I pulled back the curtains, there was the faint imprint of a hand, smeared and ghostly, pressed against the glass. In the bathroom, the water sometimes ran black for a second before turning clear again. I told Kurt. He smiled calmly.
Old plumbing, tropical animals. Nothing to worry about.
But I was worried, more than worried. I wanted to leave.
Just let me finish your portrait. One more day. Then I'll take you back.
That night, I dreamed of a woman crawling toward me on all fours, her body twisted, her face missing. She whispered something that chilled me even in sleep.
Get out! Before he gets you too!
I woke up in a cold sweat and packed my bags. I didn't care about the painting or the promise of paradise anymore. I just wanted out. Everything felt terrifying. Nothing about this place was normal. As I crept through the darkened hallway, the portraits on the walls seemed different. Their eyes followed me. Their expressions, once serene, were now pleading. I paused in front of a new painting, one I hadn't seen before. The girl was young, beautiful, her mouth slightly parted like she wanted to scream. It smelled wrong, like rust and something sweet rotting underneath. I reached out despite myself. The canvas felt soft. A lock of real hair fluttered to the ground. The painted skin peeled at my touch, wet, red, and warm. I screamed. Then Kurt was there.
Where are you going, Jess? Your portrait isn't finished.
I turned and ran. I slipped through the nearest door, not caring where it led. All I knew was that I had to get away from Kurt. Every cell in my body screamed that something about him was dangerously wrong. The room was littered with scraps of fabric, but they weren't just ordinary cloth. They had fallen from what was left of bodies. I looked down and saw her, a girl my age, her eyes wide open and unblinking. Her skin had been peeled away in strips, revealing raw muscle and exposed bone. Beside her, her hair was tied neatly in a ribbon, like a prop. Realization crashed over me, shattering every illusion I'd held dear. Kurt hadn't simply immortalized beauty on canvas. He trapped it cruelly within layers of paint, flesh, and agony. All those silent, beautiful girls, forever frozen, were now masterpieces on his walls. Kurt stepped into the room, holding a knife and a sewing needle. He walked to the body and began to work, gently applying her flesh to a canvas, humming as if lost in thought.
She was lovely, but you, Jess, you'll be the masterpiece.
He looked at me with admiration, not malice, as if he truly believed what he said.
You should feel honored to be remembered forever, to never fade.
I backed away, hands shaking. My scream rose and was swallowed by the thick, silent walls. No one knew I was here. No one would come looking. Paradise Island was a graveyard, and soon I'd be another face on the wall, watching, forever silent, forever pleading. Run. While you still can.
I dreamed of the crown since I was little, but no one told me that to wear it I'd have to sell my skin, my blood, my name, and eventually even my smile. My name is Rachel. I grew up in a 10-square-meter slum apartment with a leaky roof and rats that gnawed the corners of our rice bags. While other kids played doctor or teacher, I practiced smiling in a cracked mirror, whispering answers to imaginary beauty pageant questions. I didn't dream of fame. I dreamed of escape, from debt, from hunger, from the burning shame on my mother's face every time we borrowed rice. I believed the crown could be a way out, that beauty could be my one currency in a world that charged interest on being poor. So when they came to me, corporate-looking men with briefcases and practiced smiles, I didn't hesitate. They said,
"We've paved the road for you. You become Miss National, then an influencer, live stream beauty products, a stable career. Just one condition. We implant neural interface to keep your performance optimal."
They called it a win-win. I called it salvation. The training began immediately. For 3 months, I was kept in a white facility where my posture, speech, and even eye-blinking rate were corrected. There were no clocks, no windows, only bright lighting and cameras. Every time I messed up, flubbed a line, missed a smile cue, the neural wires shocked me, not sharp pain. Number A, searing current that jolted through my spine like my bones were melting. At first I cried, then I screamed, but no one came, so I learned to stop resisting. And then I learned to smile. The investors came next, powerful men, silent, evaluating. They sat in rooms where I served wine and compliments, where my job was to amuse, flatter, obey. My manager whispered,
"This is part of the journey. They made you, now you entertain them."
I nodded, not out of agreement, out of instinct, because hesitation meant another electric jolt. A reminder, I was no longer a person, I was a product. My value was in performance, in packaging, in pliability. I won the crown that winter. The lights, the applause, the televised tears. I became the nation's sweetheart. My face appeared on magazines, milk cartons, digital billboards. The whole country celebrated the fairy tale, the poor girl who became a queen. But the real coronation came later, alone, in a locked hotel suite. Instead of jewels, they handed me a live stream rig, a ring light, a branded bathrobe. The crown stayed on, but it wasn't authentic. I never felt its weight until that night.
"Time to earn back your value,"
they said. I was now the face of Serum X99, a skin-whitening miracle. I sold it every night for 4 hours straight, smiling, winking, thanking thousands of fans for their purchases. I laughed. I shared skincare tips. I told anecdotes carefully written for me. The neural interface was still in me, now so deep they twitched when I breathed. Sometimes I felt them pulsing under my skin like living vines, coiled into my nervous system. I asked when they'd remove them.
"When your audience retention drops,"
they replied. They didn't need to say more. I understood. As long as I was profitable, I was theirs. One night, I accidentally dropped a bottle of serum backstage. It cracked open, oozing something thick, veiny, twitching, alive. I screamed. The system zapped me. Don't overreact. Keep smiling. Was I selling cosmetics or curses? Every jar I shipped could have carried something grotesque. But the fans believed, they trusted me, they adored me, and that made it worse. I tried to pull the wires out once, locked myself in a bathroom, yanked a connector near my forehead. My vision blurred. Blood mixed with static. I lost all sensation in my left arm for hours. They found me, reattached the wires, increased the voltage, cut my rations. I wasn't punished with prison. I was punished with performance. You are valuable, but replaceable. That night I cried without making a sound. Even my sobs had to be beautiful. So I went live one last time, but not to sell. My name is Rachel, I told the camera. I'm not free. I'm controlled. Everything you've bought from me is a lie. Please, help me. They reported my video. Within hours, my name was scrubbed from the internet. My pageant footage deleted. My fan pages gone. My face blurred in photos. My existence turned into a glitch in the system. They yanked out my neural interface, violently, without anesthetic. My skin tore, my memory fragmented. And then they replaced me. A new girl, younger, brighter, paler, shinier. She wore my dresses, my smile. She called herself Rachel 2.0.
Sister Rachel is taking a break.
She giggled.
I'll carry her legacy.
The fans believed her. They moved on like I was a software update. Now I rent a mouldy room in the outer slums. No crown, no fans, just my bruised body and a cheap burner phone. I can still feel the ghost of the threads, phantom pain twitching beneath my skin. Every month I arrived in Los Angeles when I was 22, dragging a scuffed suitcase and a head full of fragile dreams. I wanted to act, not just be famous, not just be seen, but to perform something that mattered. I wanted to be somebody. Everyone said I had the look. Tan skin, wide eyes, and the kind of youthful fragility that casting directors seem to eat alive. At first, I thought that was a compliment. Now I know better. The first time I met him, Piddy, was in the gold-tinted corridors of Empire House Studios. The walls were lined with platinum records and golden trophies. Piddy didn't audition me. He just invited me for a chat in his office. He wore sunglasses indoors, the kind of man who never broke eye contact, even through 2 inches of designer lenses. He didn't ask what roles I wanted or what my dreams were. He asked how far I was willing to go. Then he stood up, walked over, and without warning, laid a hand on my shoulder. It slid down my back like grease.
Fame leaves a mark, baby.
He whispered. I froze. Back at my apartment, I stripped down and stared at myself in the bathroom mirror. My skin still tingled where he touched me, and that's when I saw it. A red handprint, bright, raw, and burning across the middle of my back. It wasn't paint. It wasn't a bruise. It didn't hurt, didn't fade, didn't wipe away. I scrubbed myself until my skin peeled, but the mark stayed. I stopped sleeping, stopped auditioning. My inbox was full, but my soul felt hollow. Weeks passed. Then came the white party. I wasn't invited as a guest. I was just a server. He threatened me, said if I didn't comply, he'd release the casting video from that day online. Everyone was dressed in white. Stark, ceremonial white. The kind of white that hides blood, but never sin. Celebrities mingled with producers. Influencers posed beside men who ran studios like kingdoms. That's when I started seeing them. Red handprints. On the backs of dancers. On the thighs of stylists. Around the necks of young interns. All glowing red under the same kind of white light that revealed mine. A woman leaned over the champagne table, and 5 deep red fingers wrapped around her bicep. It was Piddy's wife. And that's when I understood. Only the marked can see the marks. I was not alone. I joined a quiet group online, a closed circle of those who had seen the red handprints, survivors, not just women, men too, a cameraman, a backup vocalist, a personal trainer, all carried marks from the same parties, same rooms, same man. We shared stories, shared proof. We compiled our evidence, glitches in footage, unedited photos, glimpses of handprints in the cold fluorescence of dressing rooms, green rooms, hotel lobbies. We built a case. I told the others, we can do this. We can fight. But then, I got the message. A voice memo. From a number I didn't recognize, but the voice was unmistakable. Piddy.
You open your mouth, Hannah.
He said, calm as a scalpel.
And I'll open the vault. You know the one. Room 7, white party, champagne room. There's footage. You were drugged, but baby, the camera doesn't care. The internet won't either.
3 days later, the video dropped. Low res, grainy, dim lighting. But my face was unmistakable. I was dazed, barely able to stand. He was behind me, his hand pressed to my skin. It went viral before I could even scream. The headlines didn't say survivor. They said, actress caught in scandal with hip-hop mogul. Nobody forced her. Another clout chaser? Agents dropped me. My email filled with threats and offers, none of them professional. Studios blacklisted me. People whispered. Some looked at me with pity. Most didn't look at all. My career was over. No one wanted to hire the girl from the clip. No one cared how it got made. No one wanted the truth. I received a warning message.
There are still plenty of other casting videos. Be a good girl and do as you're told.
After that, the stories dried up. Some members of our circle vanished. One girl, the bravest among us, was found in a river. No one asked questions. I went back to being invisible. Months later, I saw a young actress stumble out of a club, the same dazed look I'd once worn. She had a fresh red mark just below her collarbone. I turned away. Back home, I stripped in front of the mirror, and I saw. Under the harsh white light, they emerged. Not one, not 5, but dozens of red handprints, crawling across my skin like a living plague. My shoulders, my thighs, my neck, my ribs. They weren't bruises. They weren't burns. They were brands, punishments, proof of every time I turned away, every time I stayed quiet, every time I let it happen. I dropped to the floor, shaking. I had wanted to be seen. Now I couldn't look at myself. The marks were everywhere, some new, still glowing, others old, deep like wine stains, faded but never gone. Some fingers dug into my flesh like they were trying to pull me underground. I could barely breathe. Then, a new one appeared right before my eyes. It bled into existence, blooming around my throat like a hand trying to strangle me from the inside out. Just the red. Always the red. I clawed at my neck, as if I could rip it off, erase it, scrub myself clean of every secret I'd buried under silence. But the handprints didn't just stain my skin. They owned me. They were justice for the voices I didn't protect. They were the rage of every soul I abandoned to save myself. I curled into a ball on the cold bathroom tile, sobbing soundlessly, because the red fingers around my throat were no longer symbolic. They were real, and they were winning. But I still had hands, still had breath, so I wrote. I bled it into pages. I titled it, The Red Handprints. It's not a cry for help. It's a record of rot, a monument to the cowardice that lives behind fame and filters. Maybe someone will read it. Maybe not. Maybe they'll see the marks too. Maybe they'll finally scream before it's too late.
I was never anyone special, just another forgettable name, another unremarkable face among millions. My life followed a quiet rhythm, filled with just enough work to get by and a modest apartment where I could retreat from the world. It wasn't exciting, but it felt safe. And most of all, it was mine. Then the pain started. It began as a vague stiffness in my fingers, the kind that follows a poor night's sleep. But it didn't go away. I woke up one morning to find my wrists bent backward in unnatural angles, my hands trembling as if someone else had twisted them while I slept. The veins beneath my skin swelled in strange spirals, crawling like vines beneath the surface. My skin began to peel, not from dryness, but from something deeper, as though something inside me wanted to shed the shell it no longer recognized. I went from one clinic to another, clinging to the fragile hope that someone, anyone, might recognize what was happening to me. The doctors ran every test they could think of, but all I ever got in return were puzzled looks and gentle shakes of the head. And while everything remained uncertain, the pain inside me only grew worse, turning sharper, deeper, as if it were slowly eating away at my very bones from the inside out. Then I was referred to Dr. Louis, a renowned geneticist known for tackling rare and difficult conditions. The institute where he worked felt different, silent, sterile, and watchful. When we met, he didn't look confused or concerned. He looked intrigued.
Your case is unique.
he said after examining my scans.
I believe your body isn't failing. It's adapting. With a full genetic workup, I may be able to stabilize the changes.
His confidence made me feel for the first time that maybe there was hope. So I said yes. Every time my condition worsened, I returned. My joints stiffened, my skin cracked open, and sometimes I bled without any visible wound. Louis was always ready, always calm, sometimes even eager. He asked to monitor me overnight, citing unusual biological responses and a need for close observation. One night, as I waited in the hallway, I saw a man escorted into a restricted zone marked Sperm Donation Facility. He was entirely covered, hood pulled low, and though he only glanced at me for a second, something about him disturbed me in a way I couldn't explain, like he wasn't truly there. Soon the symptoms escalated. My sight blurred. My ears rang. I couldn't sit for long without sharp pain in my back. I touched my spine one morning and felt ridges rising beneath the skin. New bones, reshaping me. When I told Louis, he responded not with concern, but with quiet excitement.
You're progressing faster than I anticipated,
he said, almost in awe. I wanted to walk away, but fear held me in place. I was no longer sure what would happen if I left, whether my body would survive it, or whether I would become something even worse, alone. Then, one night, I woke to agony. I stumbled to the bathroom, pulled off my shirt, and saw my back split open. The skin had torn along my spine, not from trauma, but from pressure within. Something had pushed out, forcing its way through. I ran to the institute in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat and blood. Louis was waiting for me, as if he had known I would come.
It's time,
he said quietly, and led me into a part of the building I had never seen. Down a hallway, into a sealed room lined with glass tanks, tissue samples, embryonic models, and documents marked by strange codes. I realized in that moment that this wasn't a clinic, it was a lab. I turned to leave, panic rising, but he was already behind me with a syringe. I felt the needle sink into my neck, and moments later my limbs gave out. He secured me to the chair, whispering that it was just to prevent convulsions. Then he told me the truth.
You were part of something greater, a vision for the future of our species, an experimental bloodline created through selective sperm enhancement to forge the next stage of human evolution. You were never meant to survive. Your embryo was marked for disposal, but a clerical slip placed it into the hands of an infertile couple, and they raised you, never knowing what you truly were.
I stared at him, frozen, each word cutting deeper than the last.
I knew the moment I saw your data. That's why I stepped in. I was guiding you toward what you were always meant to become. Without my intervention, your body would have collapsed under the weight of its own potential. But now you're becoming something extraordinary, and for that, you owe me everything.
Then the transformation began. My muscles clenched, spasmed, and tore themselves apart, only to rebuild in strange, knotted shapes. Bones cracked and twisted, reshaping themselves without mercy. My spine broke through my skin, forming a jagged ridge that curved like armor. My screams blurred with the sound of my body unraveling. And then, from just beneath my collarbone, something began to rise. It wasn't just bone, it was flesh. A second face, half formed, emerging from within me. Mouth clenched, teeth grinding, jaw twitching. It had no eyes, but it moved, alive and aware. Louis stumbled back.
No, this isn't the final design. This wasn't what I planned.
But I no longer heard him. Something inside me had broken loose, not just in body, but in mind. The pain, the betrayal, the realization that I had never truly been human, all flooded through me, drowning whatever pieces of reason remained. I moved before I even knew I had. My body, mutated, monstrous, lunged toward him. I saw the terror in his eyes just before I reached him, but by then, it no longer mattered. He created me. Now he would pay for what I had become. As for me, the ordinary life I had once known had been completely destroyed. I no longer knew what I had become. And if there were such a thing as another life after this, I wondered whether we ever got to choose the reason we were born.